And now over to Nathan Goldman.
Thank you very much. So, I didn't make this poster. I wouldn't put Chief Cantor. I'd just put my name. Someone else made it, so. But I just want to speak about. It's not a nice subject, and it's not. And it's unfortunately the Nusach of Levayos is something that's not very well. This is going to be, by the way, a Nussach presentation. I'm not a speaker. I'm a singer. So I'm not going to speak too much, I'm just going to sing for you some examples and speak about how I got to them. When I finished 6 years of cantorial training with Chazan Hershtik in the Tel Aviv Cantorial Institute. I then came to Germany. An old man, a goy, a non-Jew, came up to me and said, "Take this book and you'll learn your job." I said, "He's not even Jewish, he's telling me how to do what I know everything. I studied with Chaim Pfeiffer. If I don't know it, I'll improvise." And his name was Georg Wertzer, and he gave me Be'er Baal Tefillah. And Be'er Baal Tefillah, you know, there's so much I needed in it, which I didn't know I needed until I read it, and then I needed it. So, the first thing that I want to sing to you is an old Nussach. It's not the only way to do it. I'm not going to say this is the official way, but it's a beautiful Nussach with beautiful motifs in it. And I want to sing it to you, and then I'm going to do a few. In Stuttgart, the minhag is to start the Levaya. We start with that Sultanim, which is the Siddur Kadin. There are many ways to do it. Zolzer made compositions for it, and there are many others. Kvartin made recordings of it, but I want to sing to you from Bear's book, from Abraham Bear, and for those who want the notes, I'm very happy to give it to you afterwards. Can we put it on the screen?
Just tap.
This?
No.
This one? Oh, thank you so much. I think it's another one.
No, it was two. One back.
Yes. I'm sorry, it's not very clear. Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Wait, sorry, my bad. What just happened? Whose computer is this?
Beware people who touch your laptop.
Whose computer is this?
It's mine.
Okay.
It's all right.
Would you like to
That's okay.
step in?
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. This one?
No.
Next one.
No.
Oh, it was the first one.
It's still going. I don't know.
He's gonna.
Oh, are you?
It's fine. It's fine.
Are you on? Okay.
Atzut so mi polo ki chol drochov mishpot Elemunov yenov el tzadik veyashar hu Atzut homim bechol poal mi yomalomatifol Hasharit b'matol v'mal Mei misu mechayem u'richeyo v'yorah Hatzutomim b'chol masei mi yomalomatase Homev Yosei Chesed Chinom Lanu Tase Uvischu Sanekad Kese Hakshivo Vase Sadik Bechol Drochov Atzutomim Herech Apayim Umolei Rachamim Chamono v'chusno alavos uvonim Ki lefodon haslichos v'horachamim Sadik kato Adonai lahom misu lahachayos Asher b'yodecho pikdon kol ruchos, Cholelo lecho zichroneinu elimchos, V'yunu einecho v'rachamim oleinu fekuchos, Ki lecho dono rachamim vaslichos. Odom ben shono yihyeh, o elef shonim yihyeh, ma yisron lo kelo hayoyeh, Baruch dayan ho emes meini sumechayeh, Baruch hu ki emes dino, Umeshotei takol be'eno, Umeshalem lodom cheshbono v'diyeno, Makol ishmo hadoi o yiseinu, Yodanu Adonai ki tzedek mishpotecho, Titzdak bedovrecho, V'sizke b'shovtecho, Ve'ein lahar herachar midas shovtecho, Tzadik ato Adonai, Ve'yosho mishpotecho, Dayon emes, Shofet tzedek ve'emes, Baruch dayan hu emes, Shekol mishpoto tzedek ve'emes, Nefesh kol chai beyodecho, Tzedek moloyim minecho beyodecho, Rachem apleitas on yodecho, Mesom al maloch eref yodecho, Gedol hoetzov rav holilio, Asher necho fekuchos, Al kol darchei b'nei Yodom, Lo seis leish kidrochov, V'chifrim halolov, Lahagik yoshor Adonai, Suri v'lo adlo sabah, Adonai nosan, V'Adonai lo koch, Yehi shem Adonai nevoroch, V'hurachum yechaperu vom v'lo yashchis, V'hirabol yoshivamo, V'lo yoir kol chamoso. Now, I know it's a lot. But,
An applause for Atzut. I mean,
pardon?
it's the first time you get an applause for Atzut.
Yeah, exactly. How do you know I might have got it in the Bible? No, but it's a lot. But bear in mind, my friends, I think nowadays any Joe Schmo can get up and read Hatzul Tolim, or even do it. Most people in America or Israel, they do it to a sort of Yishtabach mode sort of thing, or to, it's, most people when they're doing it to Ladovid. I was speaking to Chazan, my friend, I'm sorry, my dear friend, if I can call him my friend. And we were talking about it. The old Chazonim also used to do it similar to the David Mizmor or Rosh Hashanah after Ma'ariv, right?
When you recite tehillim, the same thing.
Same things as the tehillim. So this is something, it's a bit different and it's a bit more professional. I mean, this is, even in Abraham Bear's book, which is like 200 years old, he calls what I've just sang Alta Visa. So it's like really old. Yeah. And it's very special to sing something that's, it's long, but I think it adds a sort of decorum to the occasion of a Levaya, and I think it's worth preserving that Nussach. And if you don't want to preserve it, at least we heard it today. So I want to just carry on and speak about the Mole. And this was not a piece of Chazonus, this was a piece of Nussach, this was a piece of recitative. It's not a piece of Chazonus. It's an old Nussach that it's very, very rare that you'll find someone that sings that today. And I think it's worth to bring it back. I think it's a very important Nussach, and I think it should be preserved. Can anyone tell me what I just sang, what it is similar to? If anyone can be very clever here. It's very similar to a lot of...
Actually,
yeah.
part of many Chazonah, when they do Baruch Shemay, they don't sing Chazanah all the time, they recite it.
Yeah.
Part of that reminding people of Baruch Shemay.
Yeah.
You sing sort of...
Like the chanting of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very similar to the Kinnis. To the Kinnis. There are some Kinnis that are very similar to it. That motif. Dee da 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 dee da. You'll find that motif on a lot of the Kinnis. It's a sad time, and it's a sad time. So whoever made this Nussach knew what he was doing, I suppose. Okay, so let's go to the Mole. So I was a student of Chaim Feifel, and I was doing Levayos from the age of 21. And I came to Stuttgart and I started doing, I'm not 21 now, as you can see from the hair though, but I would improvise on the Mole in Fraigish. And some of the Levayos were fantastic and some of them were a bit rubbish. You know, because with improvisation that can happen, you can have very good improvisation, and some days you just don't have the chazonus. And the Rov came to me and he said, you can't do that, you can't do one Levaya fantastic and one Levaya rubbish. So I think he was trying to get on my nerves. So Abraham Bear has a Mole, and it's a basic Mole. It's clean, and I use it every single time. If I'm doing a Mole for like a Yom HaShoah or Yom HaTzmaut or something, then I would improvise. But on the Fraigish or maybe a bit of Yishtabach as well. But with this, it's a set Mole. I'm going to say the name, I'm just going to say Ploni Ben Ploni, because I can't think of anybody who's yours. It's very, very simple Nussach. El Mole Rachamim Sholchei Mameromim Hamsei Menuchonechoeno Tachas Kanfei Hashkino B'mahalos Kedoshim Utehorim Kezohar Harokia Mazirim Es Nishmas Ploni Ben Ploni Sheholach Le'olamo Paro Shekol HaTzibor Mispalel Biadas Koras Nishmoso Lochein Valo Rachamim Yastireu B'Seisek Enofor Le'olomim V'yitzrol B'tzror Achaim Es Nishmoso Began Eiden Tehe Menuchoso Adonai Hu Nachaloso V'yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkovo V'Nomar Amen. Finishing in the Fraigish. And you can see it's not chazonus, it's a piece of Nussach. But the average guy can't get up and do it, because it's something I've prepared before. And Daniel Gilder told me the best improvisation you can do is something you've prepared before. And I want to just say one thing. My mother told me a very interesting thing. This is when I was learning this. Actually, I was the next thing which we're going to. Can we go to the next one, please? The Yoshev. So when I was sitting at my keyboard learning this, and my mother, when I started learning, she said, "Oh my God, your granddad used to sing that." I remember your granddad singing it. And when my mother was around 9 years old, she was she used to go to a lot of the, my grandfather was Chazan, and my mother used to go to a lot of the Levayos with my grandfather. And one day she was waiting in the car, and she saw the gown, you know, waving in the wind, coming up to the car and say, "You got to come. There's a lady here. She's not got any family, and it's just me, you, and the person who's going to dig the grave." And he did and she stood there. She was 9 years old with him, and the guy who was digging the grave, and he did the levaya as if there were 200 people there, just him and two other. Most people, you know, in Germany sometimes you daven for not so many people in the shul. You can be davening for 15 people or 10 people sometimes. And I always thought of that story, how he davened as if there were 200 people there. You couldn't tell the difference. So I'm going to sing to you this Yoshev. This is what my grandfather sang, and it's in Abraham Bear's book as well. As I said, I'm not a speaker, I'm a singer, so this is more of a Nussach presentation. Yoshev b'seiseh yom b'tzel shadahai yislonon Omal Adonai Machsi Mesudosi Elohai Evetach Bo Ki hu yatzilchu mipach yokush mideve halvos bebroso yosech loch besachas knofov terse sino vesochero amitu lo siro mipachad loilo mechit yahov yomom mideve bo feyehaloch Miketer Yoshut Zoroyim Ipo Mitzilcho Elech Urabo Bominech Welech Lo Yigosh Rach Beinech Sabit Bishilu Masrushoim Tirehe Hiatu Adonai Machsir Yohon Sametu Meonecho The melody repeats itself through the whole thing. And now we'll talk about the Michtom. So that's how we, and you can see actually the similarity between the Yoshev and the Hatzor Tomim. There is the di da 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 di dum, that motif again. This is a motif that is very important to preserve. Even if you're going to sing the David Mizmor version, you should put this motif there because that is there. Abraham there wanted it there because that is the Nussach for it. And I don't think anyone in the world really knows that. I mean, for those who, most people do it like the David Mizmor on Marif on Rosh Hashanah. But there was a specific motif which is very, very old and it's very special. So I just want to speak about Michtom. So there is a Michtom in Abraham Bear's book, but I don't like it, ironically. So I go to the Blue Book. And the Blue Book has two Michtoms. And what I do is I say the Michtom, and on the last line I sing from the Blue Book. So I go like this. I say, I start. I go. What is the? Yes, Todieni. So I go. I say it. Kilo sa'azod nafshi lishol lo sitein chasid choli rosh shochas. Todieni orachayim sova semacho. I could do the whole thing like that, but it's a bit long. It's a bit long to do it because we have the tradition in Stuttgart. We make the Levayos quicker because people are suffering, you know, we don't want them to suffer more than they have to, and it was always the minhag to make it quick. Not quick, but quick, not to make it, to drag it out too much. And that was my Nussach presentation. If anyone has any questions, I'd be very happy to answer you.
That last bit you're saying reminds me of the Ansis Malay, which was written at, there's some motifs that sound very similar to that.
It's Blue Book. I don't know who composed this. One of them. There's two Michtoms. There's two Michtoms there. Yeah.
And you
I
have
used to do
the
the Bingo Go the choir.
And and the chazan would improvise in between.
No, but that bit, including the music. The choir, "Each one is of it to make the choir should join in.
Yeah. I've heard a recording of Simon Hass doing it, but he improvised on the Michton, and the choir just did the melody, and he improvised that other thing. But it's also nice, one or the other. Yeah. Yes.
I'm a terrible nudnik, forgive me.
No.
It's just a tiny little detail. In my experience in the 19th century, when they wrote Alte Weise, what they actually meant was, it's not my original composition, it's traditional.
Yes.
It's not necessarily, they're not necessarily expressing an opinion on how old it is.
Right.
Whereas, it did come out in the 1870s, so for us it is old either way.
Right.
Just saying when they wrote Alte Weise, they're not necessarily saying it's old.
So what
They're
they're
just saying it's not an original piece of theirs, it's rather,
It's not.
it's traditional. Exactly.
Traditional, right.
Exactly. I mean, like in Israel, when you don't know who wrote the song, they say Amami, folklore. so we say that Mr. Amami is the best composer in Israel. That's the
Very good. Thank you for telling me that.
sure.
This is not a subject that is aired very often, and so thank you for bringing it. It so happens that we had a pre-conference workshop on Tuesday morning, which Alliance led, about basically the Nussach and Chazonos, if you can call it Chazonos, for weddings, and Levayos. I'm interested to know from you and the group generally, we've throughout this convention talked variously about the fact that people are no longer interested in Chazonos anymore. We heard particularly at the panel session this morning about people who kind of do their own thing, and yet funerals, I think, is possibly the last area which is reserved for clergy.
Yes, that's why I love it. I love it because they don't make me too happy.
Yeah. I'm just interested to know whether it's a subject that we think we ought to expand on more in the Cantorate, perhaps because everybody dies at some stage. So there's going to be a continuing demand cycle, isn't there?
But it's illustrated here that this is a Nussach. This is a recitative. It's not a place necessarily for improvisation. And I think that makes us better. Not better is the wrong word, but more needed than the average guy. If we do stuff like this, it adds a culture and a dignity to our services that the average guy can't do unless he really sits and learns it. And the people will miss this if it's not there. Why didn't I have it at my Levayos?
People want a proper send-off.
Yes, definitely.
And perhaps more so than any other aspect of our
And the sheet music is available. Did you write it yourself?
No, it's on. I've got it on PDF.
Yeah.
I can send you.
It's online. It's been digitized by the Goethe University of Frankfurt. So it's the Freiman collection, Freiman Sammlung. It's online. It's a very bad search engine, but if you know what to look for, you'll find it.
I want to say something regarding that also, is that when this old man gave me the book, I knew the name because all of my teachers all mentioned Abraham Bear.
Yeah.
Reverend Sherman, who was a teacher in Jews College, mentioned Abraham Bear. Yehuda Marx mentioned Abraham Bear. My friend Michael Plasko always mentioned Abraham Bear, and I really knew about it. It was the textbook in Jews College.
Yes, it was.
You need to read a little bit of German.
But must have been practiced in probably the 1860s, 1870s in London, and then it disappeared when they tried to disappear the Chazonim, and the Rabbonim started to take over. They had not a clue, and they still don't have a clue of what to do. So unless they are taught, they should leave it to the professional to do it. As I said to people around here, I'm going to put it in my will that when I die, that somebody is going to do the burial service the correct way, because that is my will and that's what I need to do. But where do you find them? Let's say in Manchester or London or wherever it might be. Where can I find somebody who will be able to do that for me respectably and properly? And if that is not the case, how do you advocate getting that talk? I know George gave,
You know, I was in a shul in Manchester on Rosh Chodesh morning, and the rabbi, I'm not going to say what shul or who the rabbi was, you probably know, davened Nussach. And then he went, Rutzei, Hashem Elokeinu, and I said to the chazan, who they have a chazan there, I said, don't you go back to weekday for Rutzei? He said, yes, you meant to. So these things are not the...
The rabbi didn't come from Manchester.
Ah, right.
He should, better.
Alex, if they don't do it, don't go.
In the bed, he includes German custom, Polish custom, Portuguese custom, and he links
But
out.
I don't think Portuguese is for everything.
No, he includes it in certain places.
Yes. But this is only one visor. He only puts one visor.
Which comes from where?
That's the question.
Oh, okay.
Because
so it's everyone.
But it must have been a traditional thing in England at some time. Because I mean, I don't know. I know that Zolzer has a version of it, but I don't know of any other person that made a Nussach for this. What was your question? It must be a German.
It is in German.
And you said,
but you can't. I mean, when you say German tradition, I mean Ashkenazi music. That comes from Germany. If you look back further enough. So I hate it when people say it's German. It's not Polish. But in Poland, they were singing Lewandowski's Altar. For sure.
Well, it depends. It depends.
In the big shuls, for sure. You can't. There's no doubt. In the big shuls, they would have sang Lewandowski or something similar to it. But all the Nussachos, the Messina Nussachos, they all stem from Frankfurt. If you go back far enough.
Yeah. I guess it depends what people mean when they say German music, right?
No, they hear a proper piece of Nussach. They hear a proper Hodu. Hodu. That's what we sing in England, right? Okay, there's different ways to sing Hodu for Sukkos. But they hear that, they go, oh, that's German. In Poland, we have to sing a Hasidic melody, because we have to sing a Hasidic melody, because we're Polish. No.
Yeah.
I'm sure in Poland they had a special Hodu also.
There's a lot of anti-German sentiment, for sure.
Yeah, but you can't, because that is unfortunately, the Germans wrote down everything. So you have to go to Germany to look for authenticity. And we nowadays, we've lost authenticity in the shul. In a lot of places. We have to go back to stuff like this to learn what's the real Nussach for it. What's the real way to do it.
But your grandfather used the German
Yeah,
tradition
yes.
in Princess Road,
Yes.
and Bornstein also did the same.
And he was Polish. But I think that the English Chazonim had a skill that they were able to mix the Polish and the German together.
Well, that's why in the United Synagogue, when they say the Nussach of the United Synagogue is according to the Polish-German tradition.
Yeah.
They don't say the German, but if you look at the Nussach, it's basically German with a bit of Polish put in. If you go through the Blue Book or you go through the tradition of the United Synagogue, but if you go back to Adler, let's say, the Great Synagogue in London, that was their tradition. It wasn't Litvish or anything like that. It's the same thing. And even the pronunciation, when they do the how out and that, in some of the Chazonim that were in these big synagogues, that's the accent that they use. Yeah. And the choirs as well, it's exactly the same.
Well, my mother always told me that to be a great chazan, you should be able to sing a German, like a piece of chazonos, without still sounding like a chazan. Like not to sound like a chorus boy.
Right.
But that's how we were brought up.
Yeah. You still got to sound like a chazan.
Moshe Tabina would say the same thing, wouldn't it? That's how you were brought up, Moshe. Okay, with the Hasidische background.
I was Hasidim.
Yeah.
I went to Hasidic school when I was a kid, when I was 5 years old. And then I was davening every month with my grandparents in the Stiebel, and they had Hasidische Rebbe from Poland, and that's when I picked up the foundation of Nussach.
Max had a question.
I just want to ask something. Let's something different than this. Let's say you're reading it. We're not talking about Nusach. That you will read it with a melody or a sound tone, and you improvise it according to the meaning of the words that you're saying. You add your own tefillah balev.
Yes.
And you don't use any Nusach.
Yes.
Just use your own whatever it is. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that would be more of a piece of chazonus. And I think this shouldn't be a piece of chazonus. I think this should be a Nusach. But I do think something, let's say, Atoyot Tzanato, that should be a piece of chazonus. Umiknei Chatzoenu should be a piece of chazonus. You can't just read through Umiknei Chatzoenu, Umiknei Chatzoenu, Golinu Mi'atzeinu, and that's just putting Nusach to it. But you have to really give chazonus for that. I think that's a place where you have to be a chazan. And I think this is a place where you have to be a minister. I don't think it's a time to be a chazan. You have to be a chazan in the way you present it, but there are certain places where a recitative has to be, and the words have to be expressed, and it's less about the nusach, it's less about the music, it's more about the presenting of the words. Yes, and this has to have kavanah also, but the melody has to be, the melody has to be present also in this, I think.
Just to reinforce your argument from before about the importance of German tradition, if you look at the publications and books of Chazanic compositions from Girovich in Russia, or as Ersler in Poland, and what language did they publish the books in? The books were all in German.
Yeah.
From Russia to Poland to Hungary to Romania, they all published their books. Abraham Baer, he was in Sweden.
But he was chazan in German too.
Yes, but he was, when he published, if I'm not mistaken, Bad Fila, he was in Sweden.
Right.
But all of these books are written in the German language and have Haskamas from German, they all went to Aaron Friedman in Berlin and to other Gdolim in Germany to get their approval for what they did.
And there's another thing. I think Lewandowski lived in the same time as him. Lewandowski never went to a lesson with Abraham Baer.
Right.
And there's many times where Lewandowski and Mombach and Zolzer, they're breaking the rules.
Yeah.
But I'll give them okay because they still sound like synagogue composers. When I hear Mombach, certain pieces of Mombach are totally out of the Nussach. But that sounds to me like a piece of synagogue music. I don't care if he's breaking the rules. Whereas if you take a piece of Kollebach, he breaks the rules. Not only is he breaking the rules, it doesn't sound like synagogue music. From a Western point of view, as a person who, I'm a son of Princess Road Shul from Liverpool. So when I hear Kollebach, I don't think of synagogue music. I think of a nice melody that you sit at the table with your kids and sing and have a nice time. It's not elevated enough to be synagogue music.
I agree.
It's a nice melody. It's very nice.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It's a crowd pleaser. It's beautiful.
Any accents or wrong syllables?
Yeah, well, yeah. Because Olam used to do that too, I suppose.
Okay.
But it has to sound. No, but if you compose a piece of synagogue music like Lewandowski did, even if you break the rules, you have to think: is this what I would sing to the king? And I hear Kollebach, I think I wouldn't sing that to the king.
Shame you missed our panel session on Friday morning, I think it was, where we said, if you introduce new synagogue music, is that appropriate? The basic answer was it depends on the context, but thank you. Nathan, thank you very much indeed. Very unusual, but very insightful presentation. Thank you.